Wow, I have goosebumps. This has been a long time coming. This is the first episode of It's Your Life, Time to Live It. It's a podcast series that is designed to discuss everything lifestyle, community, and also we have to put real estate in there. Let's just be fair with everything. And we're excited because today's episode is called Day One. And the reason why we started with today's episode is because without the panelists that are here today, RealtorDR would 100% not be where they are. So first and foremost, I want to thank you guys. And I also want to introduce, if you don't already know them, to our entire audience. We have Mr.
Brett Henry, President and co-founder of RealtorDR.
GGT. And Hannah Perez.
Fantastic. And you know what's really exciting and interesting is that all of us kind of come from different parts of the world and have a unique story of why we're here and why we fell in love with the Dominican Republic and what brought us together. So, I think it's only fitting that we start our first episode with Brett maybe explaining a little bit about your background, why you fell in love with the Dominican Republic, and being a co-founder, how we got started.
Yeah, sure. No problem. So years and years and years and years and years ago, I came to the Dominican Republic for a wedding. It was one of my best friends who got married down here. At the time, I was back in Canada. I was policing, and me and this person had gone through police training and stuff together. So we came down here and we were in Cabarete, and he got married there. Some years later, he had quit policing, but he had called me up and he said, "Brett, I moved out of Canada, and I'm at that place where I got married, that Cabarete town." I said, "Oh, how are things?" He's like, "Really good." He said, "I had a business and I sold it." And he says, "I'm getting involved in another business down here. Just wondering if you'd want to get involved in this business." And I said, "Well, not really. I had a whole bunch of other businesses back in Canada." I said, "No, I'm not really interested." And he goes, "Please?" And I'm like, "Well, no." And he's like, "Well, I already bought it and I need some money. So come join my business." So I said, "Okay." So that was a business on the beach. It was a restaurant, hotel that he was running, which he's done, he's done a very good job with it. But anyway, that's what brought me here. So fast forward about 16 years, about 5 years ago, I retired from what I was doing back in Canada. I sold some of my properties, some of my businesses that I had, and then decided I was going to make the move down here. I was going to go get involved in the business, in the restaurant business. And when I got down here, I kind of looked at it and said, I don't know a lot about the restaurant business, and I don't know if I really want to be in the restaurant business. So I fell back onto what I do know. So back in Canada, I was building houses. I had owned a bunch of businesses in relation to real estate, not specifically selling real estate, but I had sold and built homes and built commercial buildings and things like that. And so I got hooked up with a friend that I'd known down here. At this point, like, I've had friends, I've been coming back for 15 years, give or take. And so I ran into my buddy. He said, why don't you try real estate? And I thought about it for a little while, and I was like, I don't know if that's what I should do or what I shouldn't do. But I spoke to another colleague of mine that worked with me when I was in Canada, and I said, what do you think of real estate? He goes, Brett, because of our background, my background was in policing. He said, it really fits. He goes, you're really good at paperwork, legal, people, you know what houses look like, and you can talk. I said, do you like it? And he goes, yeah, I've gotten into real estate and I really like it. And he had been doing real estate in Alberta, Canada. I'm from Saskatchewan, Canada. A lot of you guys probably don't know where that is, but it's in the middle of nowhere. It's the most beautiful place in the world. Lots of Métis Aboriginal people. Love you all. But he said, yeah, do it and try it. So I joined up with another real estate company down here and worked with them for a little while. I'd made a few sales. It was good. Everything was going well. I just didn't like the way it was organized. Not because of them. It's just kind of the way things worked down here at the time. And so I thought, well, geez, it'd be nice to, do my own thing. And it kind of was just a passing thought. But I moved into a community called Sosua Ocean Village, and I ran into my neighbor, this individual sitting here today. And we were kind of humming along, sitting at the pool one day, and we were just, bullshitting about this, that, and the other thing. And I swear a lot. If you guys don't know, I'm a big swearer. I'm a big, proponent of swearing. It's an honesty factor. But no, I was sitting there with Bobby one day, and he's like, tell me about this real estate stuff. So I was telling him about the real estate stuff, And I was telling him about all the issues that I was having and all the, inconsistencies and kind of the way it's a little bit different here than it is in North America. And he looked at me and he goes, well, I used to be involved in sales. I know sales very well. And I think what the problem is that there's no systems down here. There's no way to really track things, or people aren't doing it this way. He goes, I think that I can take my experiences from where I'm from and what I did, and we could combine those and we could do something with that. So, and that's where RealtorDR started, is at a pool conversation over, I don't even think we were drinking. We should have been, but I don't even think we were. I think we were just kind of hanging out. And from that, the framework for RealtorDR was built. And that's what brings us up to...
And for the people, just to put things into contrast, explain a little bit of where you are from back home compared to here, because they're pretty different for the people that don't know where you're from.
So I'm from Saskatchewan. Like I said before, it's in the center of Canada. And where I live in Saskatchewan is a place called Prince Albert, which is in the northern part of Saskatchewan. Saskatchewan as a whole is probably close to the size of Texas, but there's 1 million people that live there. And where I live, there's maybe 40,000 people, maybe 50,000. And then north of us, there might be another 50 to 100,000 people. So it's very, low density. It's in the forest. Wintertime, you can basically set your watch to it being -40 for at least 2 weeks. It's going to snow. Winter starts October 31st, most years, and it lasts until May long weekend. That's usually when the ice leaves the lake. So we have a good season of about 3 months of summer. And when you get the summer months, we have, it goes winter, then mosquito month, because it's just bug infested mosquitoes. And love it there.
Sounds like a lovely place, Brett.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
I go back every summer. It's great.
He keeps on inviting me one of these days.
Yeah. So, and then moving here, we have 365 days of warm weather. When it changes 2 degrees down here, we notice it. Even though it goes from, and I talk Celsius because I'm from Canada, but when we go from 28 to 32, you're like, oh man, it got hot. And then when it goes from 32 to 28, you're like, oh, where's my coat? So it's kind of a contrast from going from 34 degrees in the positive in the wintertime in Canada to, -40, -50, -52, -58 with the wind chill. So it's a lot more consistent. And then back where I'm from, we have, 6 hours of sunlight in the wintertime, and then we get 18 hours of sunlight in the summertime. So, here it's sunrise, sunsets, 12-hour days. It's going to be somewhere between 24 and 34 degrees. It's very consistent. It's very nice.
A little bit different.
A lot different. A lot different.
So I was trying to remember, and I was like, who actually joined the team first? Like, I know we're talking to the day ones here, but was it Gigi or Hannah?
Yeah, it was Hannah. Hannah had started first because Gigi was at another office.
Yeah. and
I just don't want her to lie.
You know what? I think it is Hannah. And you know why? Because we bought our first property here in the Dominican Republic from Hannah. She was our agent, but she was also, most importantly, like our go-to friend. Like when we first started spending the winters here and we did our test run of a whole year round, like we were able to get to know Hannah and we just fell in love with her, and our kids are the same age. And it was only natural that if I'm going to buy something, I'm going to buy it from someone I like, trust, and respect. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Hannah, where you're from, and kind of the starting point with RealtorDR.
Okay. I first came to the DR in... I first came to the DR in 2012. Yeah, it was a family vacation. Fell in love with the DR, and I always wanted to come back. So I actually came back the same year for like a gap year, which is in the UK, it's like a year you take up before going to university. And I stayed here for around 10 months. I studied Spanish for 1 month because I knew absolutely nothing, not even hola, when I first came. And I just fell in love with the country, the climate, the people. I felt very much at home. And I knew at some point in my life I would come back. There was just something was calling to come back to the DR, sorry. Then I went back home. Life continued. I went to university. I left university because it wasn't what I wanted to do. And then I started working. And then fast forward a few years, I had my son, which wasn't expected. Then I went through some big personal changes, and I needed to start afresh. And I needed to get out of the UK, get away from the cold weather, the grey weather. I needed to be in a positive environment. And the only place that I thought I could make that move to was the DR. So I came back with my son 12 years ago. No, yeah, 12 years. Sorry. So my first trip here was actually in 2003, not 2012. It was a long time ago.
How is that possible? You're only what, 28?
That's what I tell everyone. This baby face lies. Anyway, so we've been here for 12 years now. My son was 2 when we moved here. He's now almost 15. Thriving, loving, living life here. And yeah, so I initially came here and started looking for work. I joined another big company, no need to mention names. I was with them for 6 to 7 years, but it was really tough because there was zero training. There wasn't that team support, that team love. And it was a tough 6 to 8 years. Then obviously once you guys mentioned RealtorDR, and I remember you looked at me and you said, "Are you on board?" And I think before I even said yes, you knew the answer. We just had that like connection with the eyes, and you were like, "Yep, Henna's on board," and that's how it happened, really.
Yeah, fantastic. And it's definitely a defining moment, and we appreciate your trust. And my goodness, the memories that we've made in the amount of time is incredible. And then Gigi, I think it's only fitting. Can you share with everyone, what was your first memory of Brett? Because what was your first memory of him? Because I know that when we first got together, I remember he called on the phone and I saw like the name that you had for him on your phone. If you don't mind, can you share it, or is that...
Okay, well, do I tell my whole story?
Yeah, you can jump in from there.
All right. So I came to, I'm Dominican. My dad's Dominican. My mom is from Honduras. She's always like, "You don't say that you're Dominican, that you're Honduran." Okay, I'm half Dominican, half Honduran, mom. And I had never come and visited, even though most like Dominican kids do visit a lot during childhood. There's like 5 of us, so I guess they weren't able to bring us. So my first time, I was like 21 or 22. It was in 2012 as well. And I came to stay at this like eco resort hotel. You guys are distracting me.
Sorry.
I came to stay at this like eco resort hotel, and that same business offered me a job. They're like, we're always looking for hotel managers. Like, why don't you stay? And I was like, don't tell me twice. So I came back 3 months later. That was January 7th, 2013. And I brought everything I owned, and I came to move here. But like I had a job, and it was a good job, and it was like a good place. And my job was to manage like their fitness camps and their gym. And then I was like the second manager for the hotel. And that's where I met Brett, because Brett worked out from the gym. So he has me saved in his phone as Gigi from the gym. And he's saved in my phone as Brett Beefcake.
This is a true story.
This is a true story. And then I stayed living here. I knew when I like first came here and was managing the hotel, I got in touch with a lot of people who had also relocated and owned businesses here, and I got to see their kids. And the way that I saw these little kids' lives, I was like, man, this is where I want to have a family one day. And I have the Dominican roots, so I did feel like connected to like my culture and a lot of that. I didn't feel like I had, been displaced. I felt like I was connecting to this whole side of my life that had always been around me. And I worked here for years. I had my son here and everything. I did a lot of like freelance work, taught yoga, personal trainer, built websites, like just all kinds of stuff. And at some point in 2020, I was like, I think I want an office job. That's one thing I haven't really done. I've always worked for other businesses and done my own thing. So I started working for a real estate office as like their office manager. And after some time, it wasn't fun anymore. And I remember seeing Brett walk by, and we had always stayed in touch and been friends. And also I had been hanging out with you all during quarantine. So we were just having fun and partying and laughing and escaping what is it called? The curfew?
Yes, yes.
We were escaping the curfew. Brett was your neighbor. So I remember us playing like water polo and things like that in your backyards. And then I see Brett walking by. I'm like, oh, hey, Brett, come check out my office. Like, I'm actually putting in my 2 weeks notice today. So come look at it before you can't anymore. And he sat down at the office and was like, yeah, we're building this company, RealtorDR. Like, why don't, then outside the office, he's like, hey, why don't you meet with Bobby and I? And I remember we made our meeting at Sosua Ocean Village at Maria's, and I passed by the German butcher and bought you guys like ribs to take home that day. And you guys like interviewed me for the role of the marketing like media manager. So I was in charge of all the social media and like website stuff. But you guys knew that I was going to be in sales. So Brett started taking me around from day one to kind of train me up on the sales part while I had the responsibility of doing marketing until, thank God, Joey and Hedwig came in to do like a real professional job. So that was cool.
No, that's amazing.
Thanks for recruiting me, Beefcake.
I knew in 2012
Yeah.
that we would be doing real estate together.
Oh, okay.
There you go. And I need the honest truth here. Brett told me that he has the gym record for the heaviest bench press. I've seen the picture and literally the bar was bending over with these like, I don't know, what was it, 6 or 7, how many plates on each side?
Six plates.
What was was it official record? Can you verify this record of the bench press?
You know, they say you've got to feed the golden goose. So yes, verify.
And how many pounds?
595.
595 bench press. I saw the picture. Literally, the bar was like bent over. It was incredible. This guy is like a beast in the gym. My goodness. Every time I go with him, I'm like, Brett, please, I'm just going to lift my own weight and take it easy. And he's like, no, you're going for it. So talk about good leadership and always pushing the team to the next level, right? And Gigi, talking about social media marketing, I know that we had a giveaway going on and a lot of our team have been doing an incredible job. Our background, some of the unsung heroes are with Sioka Arts, Hedwin and Joey, and just making us look incredible and sharing the community and the lifestyle and obviously the real estate. But the 10,000 follower giveaway is just a way of saying thank you. So if you can kind of introduce it, what you need it to do to qualify, and then hopefully we can go live on Instagram right now and present a winner.
So this Instagram giveaway, which is from Robert Mac_CEO on Instagram, you had to follow Robert Mac CEO. You had to share his post on your Instagram story. You had to tag 2 people in the comments of that post. And what was the 4th one?
I think just follow RealtorDR.
Oh, and
also.
follow RealtorDR also. So
How was the feedback? How many people did we actually get that qualified?
622 individual accounts commented and did all the things that they were supposed to do. So now
Oh, hold on. What will they win again? Like, and what do they need to use those winnings for?
Yes. So you win $1,000 that you can apply towards airfare to the Puerto Plata airport or accommodation in Sosua or Cabarete. So it's not just $1,000 cash. You get to use it to come to our area and enjoy our beautiful Sosua Cabarete area.
And we have an app that's set up over here. So it's a total random winner that'll be chosen. And it's just our way of saying thank you. Thank you guys for following us. We love the positive feedback. We even like the negative feedback, okay? The negative ones, you know what I mean? Like, keep on going. We love it. We love all of you guys. We got a whole bunch of new stuff that's coming out there, so stay tuned. It's only going to get better and better and better. And thank you guys. I know there's only one winner, but I wanted to say thank you to everyone.
Yes. Thank you to everybody. So now I'm going to click the button, right?
Hopefully it works. Come on.
We're going to find the winners. Winners are being determined. Congratulations. Here are the winners for the $1,000 giveaway. The winner is Denise Dimareng.
All right. Denise, congratulations.
Denise Dimareng. So I'm screenshotting it now.
Fantastic. We're going to post that, reach out to you personally. And yeah, congratulations, Denise.
Dimareng.
I guess when you come down here, either with the flight or the accommodation, let's do lunch. That would be really nice.
Yeah, you get $1,000 to do lunch now.
Yes, exactly. Congratulations, Denise. We'll send all the winners we'll send the winner a personal message. We'll post it also a separate feed over there on the Instagram so that you guys can see. And once again, thank you for everyone. We really appreciate your support. All right.
Exciting.
Yeah, it is exciting. I like giving away stuff like that. Right?
$1,000, Denise.
So listen, here's a hot topic right now, all right? We have to get into it. I know that we talked before and you said, no, we're just neutral. But what I want to emphasize is, as much as being neutral, for me, what I'm more concerned about is like this U.S. election. Like, I know. Like, oh my goodness. It's like a swear word or something like that. Okay. What do you think's going to happen for us, the economy here in the Dominican Republic? If there's one winner, if you want to touch on that, or just in general, like Gigi, you're American. What are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, we get a lot of leads or prospects that are coming in trying to avoid if this person wins or avoid if that person wins. One thing that I tell everybody is the DR is a very stable economy, and also like their political landscape is pretty stable. I mean, I know like there was, this whole thing with the taxes and people were banging on pots and pans and burning tires. That doesn't mean that it's an unstable government. That means that it's a government where the people and the government are communicating and there's change and things happening. So I do feel like a lot of Americans are afraid right now and looking for a good place to live and raise their kids, and they're going to find that here. So that's how I feel about it.
And Brett, I know that you've just been dominating with sales the last couple of years, and thank you for that, by the way.
No problem.
And
how's your new pool?
the pool is good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
The pool is good. And a big portion of our target market are from the States, right? Maybe talk about some of the feedback you have from some of your clients, or where are these clients like reaching out from?
No, you know what? Like, I'll just go to the Olympics. I watch it like the Olympics because I'm Canadian. I get to watch it from the outside in. But you know what I find is that down here, we're a lot of like-minded people come down here. So doesn't matter who wins the election or who does this or who does that. People usually come here because of certain things that they want to get back. I always call this place like 1972. Okay, remember when everyone goes back and they're like, "Oh, remember the good old days? Remember the good old days?" This is the good old days. I hope nothing changes here. I hope as people come to the Dominican Republic, they respect the Dominican Republic as it is. Don't come to try and change the place. Come and enjoy what has been made here. This place doesn't need to change a whole lot, because when people come and they see, I don't know, like there's little things that you would never see back in Canada or even in the States where, I don't know, someone's riding in the back of a truck. And back home, it'd be like, oh my God, that person's riding in the back of the truck. Okay, Karen, settle down. There, you know what I mean? Like it's fine. You know what I mean? There's kids having fun. Why are they not on video games? Why are they not playing? Well, guess what?
Why are they naked?
Yeah. No, but it brings you back to a time that you wanted to be at. Like, as you grow up, you remember these moments where it's like, oh, I went and played on the beach all day, or I went and played with my friends all day. And now you go back to where I'm from, but Canada, the States, any of the Western civilized, or what do you want to call first world countries, which is just kind of whatever. But you come here and kids can be kids again. Yeah,
absolutely.
Kids are riding horses. Kids are surfing. Kids are playing on the beach. Kids are doing whatever they want to do. They want to go biking. They go play outside for hours. In the community I live in here in general, I was policing for a long time up in Canada. This place is safer than where I lived in Canada, without a doubt. I did a wallet test where I live, and I know I'm getting off the topic, but I threw my wallet outside just in the middle of nowhere in my community with money in it, and I wanted to see what would happen. And 4 hours later, I had a security guard come to my door, knocking on my door with my wallet in my hand, with every cent that I had in my wallet, no ID missing, nothing. And they said, "Oh, senor, this wallet was brought in and we needed to bring it to you." I said, "Thanks." Where I come from, I may have got the wallet back, maybe but I wouldn't have had the ID. I wouldn't have the credit cards. I wouldn't have had any cash in it, and it would have been really, really, really dirty. And it probably would have been 6 weeks later when someone found it in a dumpster. So, I mean, that's what I like about here. So, getting back to all the elections and all this other stuff, it doesn't matter who wins or who loses or anything like that. It's just anyone that is fed up with where they are, and if they feel stressed out and they think to themselves, "Man, I wish I was in the good old days again," that's who's going to come here. It doesn't matter if you're a Republican or you're a Democrat or you're a liberal or you're whatever, a conservative. People come here because they want to just relax and get away from all that stuff. So if all that stuff has become stressful and become a headache in your world, and you're sick of watching the news and watching all this junk, come here, because guess what? You're not going to see it. And the only way you got to work to see that stuff, because you got to, got to get a Fire Stick. Then you got to go to Bobby's Kid and you got to get it programmed. And then it's not going to work the first 2 weeks. Then you got to get it reprogrammed again. But you know what? People don't care about that down here. It's like, hey, what'd you do yesterday? I went fishing. I went golfing. I went to the beach. And then I put in a couple hours on my computer and made some money and life was good.
Yeah, I totally can resonate with that. When you just say the timing has to be right, regardless of who wins or who loses, right? Just like Gigi and Hannah said, and myself and our own stories, the timing was right for us, right? So what I think is just coming to the end of the road for a lot of, people outside of the Dominican Republic and the United States is maybe they're a little bit curious, maybe they're interested, maybe they have some questions. And, for each one of those own individuals, by having intellectual questions, I think that their curiosity will take them to the next step and hopefully come here and visit and buy some real estate also.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I agree. No, if there's time, I'll tell you one story. I'll tell you one story. It has nothing to do with politics, but I know I have the mic, so
let's go.
I'm the president, so I'm going to hold this mic. So one of the reasons that I think moving down here, and I tell this story quite a bit to people that come down here, but when I was a younger man, I was about 20 years old, an old man moved to my town. Much younger. An old man moved to my town, and he was from Vancouver, Canada. And if you don't know where Vancouver is, look it up. It's one of the nicest places in the world. It's a beautiful city, but it's very expensive. It's very expensive to live there. And I asked him, I said, why did you move from Vancouver? He goes, you know what, Brett? He goes, I'm retired, and I was a bus driver in Vancouver. I said, okay. He's like, yeah, I got a pension. My pension's about $3,000 a year, or a month, sorry. And he goes, I can't go down Robson Street and buy a coffee. I can't afford to. But his house was in an area where he was able to sell it at a large amount. He said, I bought my house back in the day for around $40,000. I sold it for $1.6 million to a development company. I said, well, that's great. Why didn't you just buy a house in Vancouver, another house? He goes, because the house next door was $1.8 million. He goes, my $3,000 a month was never, ever going to get me the mortgage for $200,000. I said, so what did you do? Well, he goes, I moved here. And so at the time, where I lived was a lot cheaper to live, obviously, than Vancouver. He ended up buying a brand new house, a cabin, a boat, and a truck, and put $1 million in his bank account. And I said, oh, wow, that's amazing. He goes, yeah. He goes, in Vancouver, I'm a poor retired bus driver. Here, I'm a millionaire. And that resonates with me a lot now that I'm in real estate in the Dominican.
Sounds like 1972.
1972. But it resonates a lot with me because now I see everyone that's living even anywhere in North America right now. You know what? A lot of people are living in $1 million homes, but they're not millionaires. Everyone you're a cop, you're a firefighter, you're a nurse, you're a teacher, you work at the factory, you do all these things. You bought a house when you were, between 20 and 40, and now you're between 40 and 60. Well, you have $1 million worth of equity in the home, but if you're going to buy the house next door, it's going to cost you $200,000-$300,000 to upgrade. And so I tell this story. I said, why don't you go someplace where you can up your standard of living? Come down here, buy an oceanfront property, get into it for $500,000, $500,000, $400,000, put $1 million in your bank account. Now you own your home, you have no stress, you're living on the beach, you could be doing whatever you want every day, and you have $1 million in your pocket, and now you're retired. That's what I'd like to get out to everyone. I talked to some friends of mine that are living in New York, and they're living in a 600 square foot, condo, and the thing's worth like $1.8 million. And it's like, you're not living, and they don't own it. Obviously they're paying payments. It's like $6,000 a month on their mortgage. I said, what are you doing? I said, you work in tech. You could be anywhere. Yeah, I could. But I said, but what? You're going to go buy a $40 bagel down by Grand Central Station and you can't afford to do anything. All you can afford to do is walk around the town. I said, come down here. And you know what? That's where a lot of my clients come from. A lot of them smartened up and they took that, and now they're down here and they're living wealthy. They're living a higher standard of living. They're living without all the rules and all the background and stuff. And I mean, a lot of people come down here and they say the driving's crazy. Yeah, it is. But you know what? Guess what?
You're a cop.
You're not going to get
right in with the driving.
You're not going to get a ticket, but you're not going to get a ticket for it. You know what I mean? Like it's just the stress that you have back home is not the stress that you have down here. The stress you have down here is, oh my God, it's sunny out again today. What am I going to do? I'm going to go lay on the beach today. Okay, I better go meet the guys. We're going to go play road hockey today because we play road hockey down here as Canadians. We have some Europeans, maybe a couple Americans, but they're not good. But But yeah, it's just a total different way to live. And you know what? If you think you can't afford it, you can. The only reason that people don't make the move that I find is that they're scared, or they haven't thought about it, or they're not able to take the leap. And eventually they do. And the only comment I ever get from them is, I should have did this sooner. That's the only thing. The only thing you cannot buy is time. The only thing you can't get back in life is time. So use it wisely.
It's your life.
There. That's how Brett. That's how I do my Donald Trump weave, right? Because it was supposed to be politics, but we never got any politics.
First time I heard that story before.
Probably heard it twice.
Just twice. And Hannah, you're our longest standing agent, the most experienced agent that we have on our team as far as being in real estate in the Dominican Republic. So this isn't your first election. Any insight that you can give based on the previous ones, or how this one may be different?
I mean, generally speaking, there's always one side that's happy, one side that's not so happy. So there's always going to be one hand that's like, I need to get out of here. I need to make moves. I need to do something different. Stable. So I think either way with this election, it's going to be a win-win situation for the DR. Always. We always win. It's this, we have everything here. We have the climate, we have the people, we have the culture. It's family friendly. You can't really go wrong here. I mean, you can't. I've seen people from all walks of life come here and be like, wow, this is life.
Absolutely.
So I think either way, the DR is going to win, just like with COVID.
Yeah, COVID was huge to talk about right timing.
It's a blessing in disguise for the DR in some ways.
Absolutely. I never really connected the two, but you know what? I think that we'll have a similar result. Mm-hmm. We're poised, we're ready. We have everything in line exactly where it is to help the most amount of people. So if someone's out there and they're curious or they're interested, you got the right team over here. Just reach out to Day Ones. We got you. And Hannah, describe to me kind of what are some of your favorite things outside of work that you like to do?
Well, I am quite a busy mom. I'm a single mom, so I do spend a lot of time with my son. He's into soccer, so I enjoy socializing with the other soccer parents. It's always good to get together with other parents. Socialize. We go out to dinners together. We get the kids together. We do beach dates together. That's really.
You also dedicate some of your time to the
parent-teacher position. We actually have a field day coming up, family field day, which is going to be amazing. There's a great, I have to admit that if it wasn't for the school that we have here, I might not be here. I had one rule when I moved here. When I moved here, my son was 2. And the rule was if I couldn't give my son the right education, and let's be honest, the local DR schools are not quite up to par, then I wouldn't stay here. So my son has been at the International School of Sosua since he was 2.5, and the community feel that you get from that school and the love and the attention that the kids get, you can't beat it. I wish I had grown up here.
It's incredible. It's a common question I get, and thankfully we're lucky enough. But our children have been classmates since grade 1. Yeah. And my goodness, it's been such a beautiful experience to witness, right? And a great group of people, like the parents, wow, all different walks of life, right? How many nationalities are represented in that school?
Over 30.
Over 30 different nationalities. That's incredible. All different walks of life. And how many years has that school been around for now?
Ages. I have no idea.
30 plus for sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're just growing and growing and growing.
Right. And Gigi, I know we share some similar interests. What are some of your favorite things? Or you know what? Walk me through a Sunday. What would be your perfect Sunday? If you could close your eyes and just kind of share with the audience what a perfect Sunday looks like for you, how would you describe it?
So I wake up, make my coffee like I do every day. Got my baby. We making breakfast, then we go down to the beach. So I live in Playa Encuentro. All 12 years that I've been here, I've been in Playa Encuentro. So we go down to the beach. Maybe now he's finally surfing, so maybe surf with him a little bit. Then I'll get in the water. Then kind of hang out at the beach because it's Sunday, everyone's there. Maybe play dominoes, maybe just talk with people. Last weekend picked up a client, sold him a place, so that was cool. And then go home, set up my work week, do a little admin. I usually do self-care Sundays, so hair, skin, nails, and that's my perfect Sunday.
But
Amazing. And describe a little bit the surfing culture, because I know that, Cabarete area has been predominantly known as like the wind capital and in kite surfing and the different variety of sports that they have that involves the wind. But talk about kind of the surfing culture and what that means to you and to the community.
Well, for me, I feel like I was kind of welcomed with open arms into the cabarete surf, whatever, however you call it, community,
family.
yes. Yeah. Just because I was, managing a hotel and selling surf lessons, and so like I got really good business relationships with everybody from that role that I played for 2 years. And then I started surfing on my own, and it was cool. It's like you show up every day. Some people have their own board. Some people are visiting. It's a really friendly beach. So learning to surf, it's probably one of the best places to learn to surf. The water's shallow. Falling is part of surfing. So you fall off your board and then you get on your board, you walk back. So I did that for a few months, like wearing the shoes. And then I remember when the guys at the school were like, you don't need the shoes anymore. Like you're ready to just be paddling. I'm like, okay, fine. So I take off the booties. And then it's like, you don't need a soft top anymore. You're ready for a different board. And like, just kind of pushing you along and just going every day. But I guess if I were to explain the surf culture and community here without mentioning how it is on other beaches, I would say it's just really fun and cool. I mean, there's the same rules that there are on every beach. Number one, respect the locals. Number two, look around you, don't drop in on people's waves and everything like that. So I think if you're doing those things, you're going to find a really nice and accepting surf community here. If you don't do those things, then it's obviously the opposite. But I think that's the same in all the surf beaches. One thing that I really love about our surf community is it's mostly Dominicans who are maybe from the capital or from other places in the DR and have moved to Cabarete because they wanted to be a part of that culture of like, go to the beach every day, surf every day. And there's a lot of surfers in the capital that they have to drive 45 minutes to go surf. And it's like some beach where they don't serve coffee, so I think it's really nice that our little surf community is just a lot of people who really wanted to be at that beach every day.
And it's starting to become a world-renowned destination. You're finding people from all over different parts of the world, right? Yeah. And describe to me, we have an upcoming surf festival. Which we're proud sponsors of from, I think, what is this? What year is it in? The
fourth year.
Fourth year.
It'll be their fourth year doing a surf contest. It's their second year, it being called the Dominican Surf Festival. The first 2 years, it was called like the end of summer junior surf contest. But now this is officially the Dominican Surf Festival. I'm pretty sure as of this weekend, it's officially like sponsored by Ministry of Tourism. Knock on wood if that hasn't happened yet. But I think it's a great move on their part because the Dominican Surf Festival isn't just celebrating surfing and it's not just a contest. It also involves a lot of satellite events to involve the Dominican community. So there's like a dominoes tournament and bachata contest and volleyball. There's skating. There's like gymnastics and like the circus arts with the things. So live music. So there's going to be a lot of stuff to kind of bring the community and just celebrate that beach and surf in the DR because it is a place that there's a lot of potential for surf here. And if there's more contests and there's more places for competitors to go, then maybe the government will start kind of, investing more in it. And we would like it to be a destination like Costa Rica and Hawaii are known for, I'm going to go there and go surfing. DR isn't really. And we've got everything. And we don't have crocodiles or sharks. So, like, if anything, we're even better poised to take on that role. And we got humpback whales that come by. And I don't know. So, yeah, Dominican Surf Festival next weekend.
Yeah, if somebody hasn't been here before and they're considering it, like November 14th to the 17th, you need to be a Playa Encuentro. That is the place to be. Yeah. We're going to be there. Our team's going to be there. Our kids are going to be involved in it. I may even do a parent and child contest over there. So I'm super excited about that.
That's coming up against me and Ken Lee.
Let's
so
go. Let's do it.
Get ready.
The whole team cheering us on. It's going to be great. I love it. And Brett, the reason why I think it was important to discuss, what are the things we like to do is because there's different things for different people also, right? What are some of the favorite things that you like to do when you're not working, which I know is like almost all the time, but how do you combine work and life in the other things? I think that's a better question.
You know what? It kind of all just melts together. So everything kind of just combines. Cell phones were the greatest invention of all time for real estate agents, especially being able to access everything wherever you are, whenever you are. But another event that's coming up, like November's a kind of a decent month for events because we have the surf competition, and then in Samana and Las Terrenas we have the world ball hockey tournaments actually here. So that's kind of fun. So people have no idea, but we have a very competitive ball hockey league in the Dominican Republic, and the rest of the world's coming here to have a championship. So there's teams from England, Czechoslovakia, United States, Canada. I think there's like 7 or 8 other countries that are being represented there. So I like to do that. My dream is to build a hockey rink down here. So if anyone on our podcast is interested in that, it's not as funny of an idea as you think it is. There's a lot of merit to it, and I can explain it to you.
Count me in.
You're in?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, of course I am. My partner's doing something. I'm in.
I want to build a rec center.
If you're not in, you're in the way.
For a rec center for the community.
No, it's just, life is that. Go golfing. I mean, me and Bobby go out all the time, and or not all the time, is when we can, but it's things are so affordable to do down here when you come from where we come from.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and that has to be stressed. It's not free for everybody, but it's so much more economical for people from Canada and stuff. So I just enjoy everything, to be honest with you.
No, absolutely. I think those are 2 dates that people need to put on their calendar: the surf festival, the ball hockey tournament, and I'm sure there's more before the end of the year, right? And that's something that makes this area super special, or just the Dominican Republic in general, right? I got a good question for you guys. So a lot of time we have common questions, right? So we have the typical things, is it safe? How's the education? What are some of the other common questions that you sometimes get? Healthcare. What are some of the other common ones? Safety.
Hurricanes.
That's
a good one. You know what?
That's a really good one.
Hurricanes is the best one. So here on the North Coast, we haven't had a real hurricane for over 200 years. Reason being, and a lot of people don't know this, is we have one of the highest peaks next to the Rocky Mountains, which is Pico Duarte. It's over 10,000 feet high. Because of Pico Duarte, it kind of blows up the hurricanes and the wind patterns here. So we haven't really had any issues. It's kind of funny. One of my very, very, very good clients and very good friends live in North Carolina. And they have a lot of property down here, but when they went home to North Carolina, they got, and heaven forbid, they got hit by the storm there up in North Carolina.
Helene?
Yeah, the last one that went through. I don't want to butcher the name because I respect the people that are in that area, but nothing ever happened to any of their properties down here. Up there, a hurricane. How do you get a hurricane in the middle of the United States? Yeah, but and so here, that's one of the big things. The other big thing that I like down here that a lot of people ask questions about is like, I need like 5 acres of land. I want to live off the grid. I want to not. And I look at them and I say, you know what? The growing season here is year round, and everyone's like, well, I want like 2 or 3 mango trees. And I look at them and I say, you know what? Your mango tree is going to provide you with 500 mangoes when it actually gets mature. And it's going to do that 2 times, depending on the kind, maybe 3 times a year. I said, so that means you're going to have to be eating 3 to 7 mangoes a day for your 1 tree. So you don't need 5 acres of land. You need 2,000 meters, and you'd have more than enough. So yeah, these are questions that I get asked.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just to add to that hurricane thing, because I'm from South Florida and I'm from Miami. I don't think I mentioned that in my bio. So we'll have to put that in the edits. Yeah. Miami. So we have we get hurricanes every year, multiple times a year, tropical storms, all that kind of stuff. And it's kind of a culture in Florida of just kind of like, oh, another one, okay, you stock up, but you're not like that scared of them because it's a reality. In South Florida, they build with wood and sheetrock and, it's just really, huff and puff and blow away materials. Here we build with pure concrete. So even when you see in the news, like, oh, this hurricane passed and this thousands of people were displaced. They're not in these concrete homes that we have in our inventory here for sale. So in general, as someone from South Florida, even if it wasn't for Pico Duarte and everything like that, and thank God that we do have all these natural protections against hurricanes, we build with pure cement, so we're okay. We're gonna be okay. We're gonna be inside. We might lose electricity and things like that, but I think the infrastructure here provides at least some safety. You're more worse off going on the roads that might be flooded than staying in your pure concrete home.
Yeah, absolutely agree with that. And Hannah, I know a common question that you mentioned is healthcare. Like, what do you do for you and your family? Do you have a third-party provider to make sure that if there was, God forbid, any emergencies that you're taking care of? And if so, can you describe that a little bit for us?
Yeah, so I have my insurance guy who helps me with insurance for my car and for health. And I've been with him for over probably the whole time I've been here, 12 years. So I have a insurance plan with a company called Humano. I have a plan where I include my son and myself. I pay approximately, I don't know, just over $300 every 3 months for both of us.
Yeah.
And have
Very
pretty good.
reasonable.
Yeah, and we've had to use it a few times when there's been a couple of emergencies with my son, and my hospital bill has been almost nothing.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I think we're with the same healthcare provider also. And, we've been good, but when we've needed it's been there.
Exactly.
And absolutely, for people that are curious about that question over there, we have professionals that specialize in that field that can guide you through and help educate you on the different plans that are available. So we touched on some of the common questions. I'm looking for some humor here. What are some of the uncommon questions that you got before, right?
Can I pay in gold?
Can I pay in gold? All right.
Yeah, I was like, wow, that's I'll find out, but I'm pretty sure yes, a seller would accept gold. Like,
Yeah, is the gold already here, or are you gonna have to fly it in private over here? Or maybe I shouldn't even ask that. You just get it here, and then we'll orchestrate it from there. And Brett, any uncommon? Well, lots of uncommon origins.
Lots.
story. Let's hear the story.
Which one? You want to hear one of the stories? I'll keep the stories all PG because some of them aren't. But no, I had it's kind of funny. So I had an old couple that came down. They're like, how do I pay? How do I do, like, how am I going to get the money here? I said, well, all deals done in the Dominican Republic are cash. And by cash, we mean like usually, not all of them, but I mean, financing, most of them are done in cash, right? With, financing being more of a difficult option. So they took it, they were an older couple, so they were in their 70s, right? They took it literally. And I'm like, they showed up at my office with a duffel bag full of money. I was like, what? $385,000 cash, and they put it on my table, and they're like, so can we buy the house? I'm looking at them, I'm like, what do you got there? And they're like,
I'd be scared of them.
My goodness. So I brought it to the right person because I would have had to call him right away and said, Brett, we need to deal with this.
well, I asked him, I said, what are you doing with this? Like, how did you even get this here? Because it's hard, you're not supposed to travel over the border with more than $10,000 cash, right? Yeah. But it's this nice old couple, like you'd be like, oh, this is grandma's.
So before RealtorDR, everybody.
So they came, no, but they came across and they're like, no, they just let us through. I'm like, with this? They're like, yeah. I'm like, that's heavy. He's like, I'm strong. I'm like, no doubt.
My goodness.
Anyway, I talked to our lawyers and we talked to their bank back home and we asked them why they gave them $380,000 cash. And the bank's like, well, they're old and they've been our clients for a long time, so we got them the cash. We didn't really ask why. I said, oh my God. So many things that didn't happen that should have happened, that should have helped them out. Anyway, we fixed the problem. We take care of it. Things can get dealt with here. But it was pretty funny to see, because I'd never seen, like, everyone's seeing.
It's a lot of
that's cash. Yeah. It's like,
lot of cash.
yeah, this is, yeah. You're the coolest guy in the strip club with cash like that.
And Hannah, some of the uncommon questions or some of the, the situations that maybe occurred like those two, anything similar that come to mind?
I think Brett wins.
Brett usually wins.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
He seems
They
to
find
track.
their way to you.
Yeah,
Yes.
I seem to find issues. That's okay.
And
Okay, we fix it.
I guess one of the challenges here for people, especially if we're talking real estate, one of the big things that they have is that, we don't have an MLS system or that there's no association. So a lot of times, I guess some of maybe the common questions that happen that maybe aren't fielded our way but are out there is, do they actually need a real estate agent?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, well, tell us why.
Bias
Real estate agent.
Yeah. Well, number one is like for paperwork. Every single country in the world, there's people who are dishonest with things. It's not like it's the DR or whatever. But because we don't have an MLS, it's happened to many friends of mine and many sellers of ours where they purchase a property that isn't actually it's not it won't have an easy transfer of ownership, let's put it that way, because there are some properties that sell and they don't have their title, and for some reason or another you can easily transfer ownership without the title, and it's our job to know like where that line actually is. But I think like having a professional real estate agent that cares about their reputation, cares about you, wants to, keep going in life and their career, they're going to make sure that this deal goes through for you. They're not going to, just screw you over. And usually when you're dealing with directly with a seller, they don't have your best interest in mind. They have their best interest in mind. And a real estate agent provides that buffer, that filter.
Mm-hmm. And if somebody wanted to deal with you, okay,
I wanted to add to that. You know what? The realtor in the Dominican Republic we have a little bit more responsibilities than they do back in Canada and the United States.
I agree.
You know what? Back in Canada and the United States, it's more paperwork and more stuff like that, and I can agree with that. But down here, we're your first, like when you're buying your first home down here, and and I'm strictly talking about, our relocating people and stuff like that. We're your first contact. We're your first, person to connect you on the island. And as realtors here, we know everybody. Like that's the thing. They'll come to us and say, like, do you have a doctor? I don't have a doctor. Oh, where do I get my car fixed? How do I get this? Where do I go for groceries? What am I doing? Who's a good lawyer? And you know what? We've gone through, the good lawyers and the bad lawyers and the different lawyers, and we've gone through, people that are going to be good property managers, bad property managers, and things like that. For us, it's and there's a lot like
anticipating issues.
Anticipating issues and stuff.
Being proactive.
Yeah, and I mean, there's lots of good I love it. Our company is the best. We're the best, bar none. There's no one better than us. But there are a lot of good realtors down here, and they're all going to take care of, they're going to take care of their clients and take them to the, the good lawyers. That's why you need real estate agents here, not just from our office, but from all the offices. Is they're going to take care of you when you get here until you get your feet wet, until you know where to go, until you know, like, we're here to field questions all the time.
It's way more work than traditional sales agents back home, and the reason why being is that you have to bridge the gap.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's an ongoing process for people who are relocating, people who are investing. There's a lot of things that there's just literally no shortcut to experience. And when you take a look at like your experience, our team experience, you're literally talking hundreds of years of experience underneath one roof to help that person make the right decision. Like, describe to me, Hannah, some of the little things that, you do that go over and beyond a typical resume or a typical job description of what a sales agent would be back home versus here.
Convert the bills into their name.
Uh-huh.
There's always help required where there's language barriers. Some of our clients don't speak a word of Spanish, and generally speaking, you can survive in this area because we have this huge expat community, but there are some things where you do need a bit of help. Setting up a bank account, getting health insurance, car insurance, buying a car, finding a nanny, finding a cleaning lady. I mean, the list goes on. It is literally...
The trades, knowing which trades, like when someone wants to do home improvements, to fix things that may be broken with electrical or plumbing, just that alone, like there's so many years of experience that we have in knowing exactly who the right person is. Because if we're going to make a recommendation, we based it on trust and our experience of working with them. And literally between our team, that's just undeniably a huge thing that we bring to the table over there, right? Yeah. Guys, this was a great first podcast. I wanted to thank you guys as the panel. I also wanted to invite everyone that's out there to follow us. We're going to be on different programs. We're going to be on Spotify, Apple Music, Pandora, Deezer. You're going to also find the full version of this podcast on YouTube. We're going to take some cuts. We're going to put it on Instagram. Thank you, Gigi, for help with the 1,000 giveaway. Brett, for sharing your story. And thank you for being the original co-founder with us. Hannah, for seeing the vision and trusting in us. Guys, without everyone here, this journey would have never happened. I wanted to say thank you to you guys, and we're really excited about bringing some new information on lifestyle, community, and real estate on a weekly basis to the audience. So thank you guys, and stay tuned. Oh, how do we get in contact with you? That's important.
No, I was going to say, I'm going to be a little mushy here and say thank you to you guys personally, to Brett and Bobby, because honestly, working at the RealtorDR team, like, yes, it's great. We have professionals like Henna and all the other people on our team, but you guys have really been pushing us since day one. I remember even from the beginning, it was like, oh, well, this is what the other people do. We're not the other people. We're doing things different. And there was like moments where maybe, I don't know, from my experience, I felt like I knew better, but then I'm like, I'll just do what you say. And it's, brought us this far. So definitely can't go without saying, like, you guys have really been the big reason why we've been so successful as a brokerage. So thanks for that, big time.
Yeah. I always tell everyone, they ask, what's the difference maker? And I say, it's the team. We were able to attract the right people right from the start. And that's undeniably the biggest reason that we've been able to come this far. And we're going to continue going there because we're not stopping. We're continue to go there, right?
Yeah, we got a great team.
Yeah.
Go check out our webpage. Check all our stuff out. They're all good. Gigi has the greatest Instagram yet. Check it out.
How do they get a hold of us? So, Henna, if somebody wants to reach out to you personally, what would be the easiest or quickest way to get a hold of you?
To send me a message or call me on WhatsApp. My contact number is 849-628-4444, or you can find me on Instagram at Henna Sales Paradise.
There you are. And Gigi, someone wants to get a hold of you?
You're going to have to find me at the beach.
Play Encuentro.
Yeah, same thing. WhatsApp, email. My number is 849-633-1490. Email gigi@realtordr.com.
Perfect. And we'll put the information in the description. And Brett?
Call Shayla. Everyone knows Shayla.
That's our operation manager.
You'll learn who Shayla is. Call Shayla.
No, just call his phone. He's always on it. He'll be able to get to it immediately for you. And myself, follow me on Instagram. It's Robert Mac_CEO. I'd love for you guys to see all about the lifestyle, the community, the real estate. And like I said, stay tuned. We have a lot more coming. And thank you guys. And thank you behind the scenes, Joey and Hedwin. You guys are doing a great job. We appreciate it.
We love you guys.